Have you ever been disappointed with God? So I'm sitting here in my bed, cozied up, and um, I have been disappointed with God a lot, especially recently in the last few months. And I know I'm smiling, but I've had moments of just utter um, numbness and disappointment and just, just like, oh, okay, you know. And so I wanted to stop by here and talk about being disappointed with God and what I've been learning and what God has been speaking to me. So if you've been following me for a while, you would know that my stepdad, the only dad I ever knew, passed away on the 7th of May this year due to COVID. After him, my mom and my sister, one of my sisters, were sick. My sister and my mom are healed now, but he didn't make it. He had complications with he had hypertension and diabetes, so a lot of complications, so he wasn't able to make it. And I made a video a week after he passed away, because that week was mostly I was so busy with planning the funeral and and stuff like that, that I was almost numb to the pain and kind of didn't allow myself to really process or really feel stuff. But then on the Saturday, just over a week after he passed away, I had kind of this breakthrough with God and just had a beautiful moment in my bathroom, actually, while cleaning my face with God. And since then, I've prayed, I've sung, I've preached, I've done things, and yeah, and I've done things, I've posted, I've whatever, you name it, I've done it, and didn't think that I was disappointed with God until about 2 or 3 weeks ago, when I was preparing a sermon about faith, and God said to me, "You've been disappointed with me." And I was reading Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1, where it says that faith is having confidence in what you hope for and having the assurance of that which you do not see. And for the first time ever, it really hit me that it's easy to have confidence in what you hope for. So for me, it has been hope. It was back in April and May that my hope was that my stepdad would be healed, completely restored. Also, I had a job interview a week or two after the funeral, and I had hoped that that would be the good thing that would come out of the death of my stepdad, or the last 2 years of applying for pastoral work and not being able to get it. So when I didn't get that job, I was really, really disappointed. But I was kind of like, I'm very good at kind of being like, oh well, okay, we move on. Just we move on. But at the back of my mind, it's still there. Stuff is still there. So 3 weeks ago, I'm in my kitchen preparing this sermon about faith, and I thought this was gonna be super lit, super theological, like, and then God is like, "You've been disappointed in me." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And the revelation was that it's easy to have confidence in that which you hope for, because there are so many promises in the Bible about, how we shall be the head and not the tail, how we ask and we shall receive, and seek and you shall find, and knock and the door will be open. There are just so many promises in the Bible, right? So it's easy to hope for that. Not super easy, but way easier than the second part of the definition, and that is the assurance of what you do not see. And it hit me that God is the biggest thing that we do not see. God is the biggest thing that you and I cannot see. So when we have faith, we're putting all our faith in this big person, this the divine, this thing, person, whatever, that we cannot see. And if we're being truly honest, it's insane. It's insane. Yet, for the life of me, I can never shake this idea that there is a God, and especially because I have heard and seen the hand of God, the hand of providence, the hand of the divine in my life. And so, but where we struggle and when we get disappointed with God is because we had hoped for this thing. We had hoped for healing. We had hoped for a child. We had hoped for, I don't know, a spouse, a job, whatever. So much so that when it didn't come, it shakes our faith in the biggest thing that we cannot see, and that thing is God. And for a long time, I had believed that if I'm a good follower of God, that things would just work out, that I would get healing, that for whoever and for myself, if I prayed for it, I would get that job, I would get that car, I would get that house. But it doesn't always work like that. And I know that that sounds like a grim religion or whatever, but in this world of chaos and madness and sin and suffering, because there is an enemy, there's good and evil. So if you believe that there's good, then there's also evil in this world, sadly. And we see it through the suffering, the death, the pain, all the things that are going on. A lot of the times, even though God does not ordain those things or ask for them to happen, he will allow those things to happen because this was the big revelation for me a few weeks ago. So there's a text in Psalms 34 verse 10 that says, the lion may grow weak and hungry and tired. I don't know, one of those. But those who seek the Lord will never lack any good thing. Those who seek the Lord will never lack any good thing. Now, the person who wrote it, if we believe it's David, I haven't done an in-depth study of that psalm, but King David wrote a lot of the psalms in the book of Psalms, and if we believe he wrote it, he went through horrible situations where he had to run and hide, live in caves, and his life was threatened. Just so many awful things happened to him, and yet he can write that verse that says, those who seek the Lord will never lack any good thing. What does that mean? So if God does not cause bad things to happen, but he allows them, right? It's because he knows. I'm very careful about how I bring this. I don't want to trivialize pain, first of all. Pain is pain is pain. And I don't want to minimize grief. I don't want to minimize, and I say that with tears in my eyes because it does hurt. And just because I've reached a theological understanding or this understanding from my relationship with God does not mean that it hurts less. It just gives me hope. Therefore, whatever your pain is, whatever your disappointment with God is, I want you to know that it is valid and it is painful, and you have every right to feel the way you feel. So my biggest revelation, and like I kind of knew this, but I think the more we walk on this Christian walk, on this Christian journey, we get to points where things start to really make sense. So if those who seek the Lord never lack any good thing, that's because We already have the ultimate good thing. And the ultimate good thing is God Himself. We never lack any good thing, because the ultimate good thing, the ultimate treasure, the all satisfying treasure is God Himself. How amazing is that? So when God does not bring healing, when God does not bring that baby that I've been longing for so long, when God does not bring that job, when God does not bring that husband or wife or whatever I'm looking for or hoping for, He knows that He's going to bring more of Himself, because He is already the good thing, the ultimate good thing. And if His greatest desire is for me to draw nearer and closer to Him, then He knows that that painful thing, as painful as it is, will bring me more of God. The all satisfying treasure. He is the only thing that satisfies. And yes, He could have healed my stepdad, but he would have died again in this world of sin and pain and whatever. He would have died again. But if I get God, and if my mom gets more of God, and if my sisters get more of God, we believe that my stepdad is resting, waiting for Jesus to come back, because he was a man of faith and believed in Jesus right until the last minute. Like that Sunday when I got to sing and pray with him, he was pointing to heaven. And when my mom talked to him on the Tuesday before he died on Thursday, he was just pointing to Jesus and trying to do the cross with his fingers. And so we know he's safe. We know. But I believe that his death is going to bring us more of God in our lives, and we will see him again. We get more of God in our difficult times. And then, so me looking for work, I think in my head, I thought, when I finished seminary, I thought I would get hired straight away and I would just like be this amazing, cool pastor. But that did not happen, and I'm so glad it did not. I'm able now in hindsight to see how, first of all, I needed to be home with my kids because they're so tiny, so small. And second of all, I needed this time to get more of God. And with every rejection, with every no, with every you're urban, you're woman, you're this, you're that, with every single one of those rejections and denials, I got more of God. I am closer to God now than I've ever been. And you know what? If getting that job or whatever means that I move away from this, I don't want it anymore. So I know it sounds extreme. I know I don't know where you are on your walk with God, but I want you to know that God, first of all, does not cause the pain and the suffering in this world. That is the work of Satan, Lucifer, the enemy, first of all. And then second of all, when God does allow those things to happen to us and for us to feel that loss and that pain, it is because it brings us more closer. It brings him close to us, because the Bible says that he is close to the brokenhearted. So when you're going through that pain, God stoops low and he breathes and he hugs you, and he is so close to you, so close to you. It brings more of God. And when we're disappointed with God, it just means that it just shows that we wanted that thing that we were praying for more than we wanted God himself. It's a harsh truth, but it is true. But we are humans, and God understands, and he draws near to us regardless, and he hugs us and wraps us in his arms.